What's going on? We back with the Boxing Clinic and more. Y'all know what it is, your boy CJ Goodfella. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you know we upload and go live. But the IBF, as expected, if y'all didn't know, they ordered Kubrat, I call him Bratwurst Pulev, and they ordered him to face Jarrell Big Baby Miller for IBF Eliminator. It'll be the mandatory to mandatory to Anthony Joshua's IBF title. It's no secret here. They were next two up in the rankings, and the shocker, or maybe not as much as a shocker, is that Bratwurst Pulev his team asked the IBF for an exception to wait the negotiation period and go straight to purse bid. We know that Pulev and Dillian Whyte was supposed to face a fight for IBF title eliminator. Dillian Whyte pulled out because Eddie Hearn didn't have enough money to win the purse bid over Pulev, and he didn't want. He said he didn't have to want to wait till like October, September to fight, whatever it was. He wanted to fight in July, so he's fighting Joseph Parker. So after Povetkin is out the way in the WBO and the WBA, but specifically WBO for Dillian Whyte and Joseph Parker, the winner of that probably or maybe named the mandatory for Anthony Joshua again. So we know the aim for Eddie Hearn, the aim was for Dillian Whyte to pull a miracle and beat Wilder, or try to somehow make the undisputed fight with Joshua and Dillian Whyte. Now, he can make a heavyweight title fight with Dillian Whyte and Joshua the second time around, because Dillian Whyte, if he beats Joseph Parker, which some people believe he will, he'd be the mandatory, and that's that. But, Pulev and Miller, the thing about it is Pulev was actually, the people who won the purse bid in Pulev favor against Dillian Whyte, they wanted the Pulev and Dillian Whyte fight to happen in America. They was going to put it on in America, but Pulev was only getting Whyte was only going to get $250K. So I guess that wasn't enough money to face a former world champion in Pulev, who was the IBF champion and lost that strap after like 4 or 5 title defenses, I believe, against Vladimir Klitschko, and got knocked out in the 5th round. Now, the notion of Pulev not being fighting in a long time it's really not true. Pulev fought last April, He fought Kevin Johnson, but he still fought and won a unanimous decision. He is older. He's about 37 years old. And this would be the toughest test for Jarrell Miller. Pulev has been off. If they fight the September, October-ish, they talking about fighting, he'd be off a year, almost a year and a half. Maybe he can get healthy and he can, find the youth. But this is definitely still the toughest, sternest test for Jarrell Miller, and that's if Jarrell Miller accepts the IBF Eliminator. Now, it'll be interesting to see if Pulev continues to put this Eliminator in America, because he was willing to take Dillian Whyte to America and not have him come to Bulgaria. Sorry if I butchered that country's name. I apologize. But I think in this case, he gonna drive this to Bulgaria. I'm sorry. Jarrell Miller gonna have to go there. Jarrell Miller might waive that though, man, because he works close with Eddie, and maybe he might already know, or I know he don't believe Eddie at this point, that he might be a bridge to Joshua over to America before he fights Deontay Wilder. When I mean a bridge, he might have Joshua test the water, see how many people he could put in the Barclays Center or Madison Square Garden before he fights Wilder, and really make a decision on the UK or United States, which he said UK, but you never know. The money might be right, and his popularity might grow. He might be able to pull more than $50 million out of Al Heyman, Shelly Finkel, and Wilder, and JD. So you never know from that simple fact. So, Jarrell could have that in a big pocket. I don't think Jarrell is going overseas, though. So if they put this fight overseas, it's going to go to the next highest contender in the IBF, which I didn't look. So it's going to go to the next highest contender. And if that's the case, I don't know. Pulev is just trying to get an easy fight versus Joshua, which he already had a fight versus Joshua. We know that. He had a fight versus Joshua. He said he wasn't healthy enough. Joshua proceeded to negotiate and force him into the deal, because if he didn't force Pulev into the deal, he was gonna have to face Luis Ortiz. But right around that time, they made the fight. Luis Ortiz popped hot. He pissed hot. He failed the test. Then Pulev magically fell out, and Carlos Takam was magically ready for the fight. So if Pulev with Miller passing up this opportunity, Alexander Povetkin is possibly gonna fight Joshua. He's the Povetkin. I don't know how Povetkin is the mandatory in a WBA to WBO, and he's also technically, it says the 4th contender, but he's technically the 3rd contender for the IBF. So Povetkin, after pissing hot in the situation he was in, he manages to get rated highly in all the sanctioned belt bodies. He's 3 in the WBC. He's number 1 in WBA, WBO, and he's 3 because it's not one rated at the IBF. That's comical, dog. That's very, very comical. But if because Povetkin might be fighting Joshua, they go to the next guy, and that'll be Huey Fury. So Huey Fury and Pulev would probably be the next order fight if Jarrell Miller doesn't take this fight. Like I said, reasons to be said. Jarrell Miller ain't going overseas. It's not for no $250K. He ain't going overseas, man, for less than $1 million. I tell you that right now, or close to it. So if they don't, they trying to win that purse, and they win the purse bid, which they probably will, and they try to put that fight over there in his country, Bulgaria, Miller ain't going. So they might as well call Huey Fury. And we know Huey Fury, he probably ain't going. Carlos Akam is the next one. He's fighting Derek Chisora, so he's tied up. Joseph Parker, he's tied up. So it's a guy named Egnet Kabeye. I don't know that guy's name. It's everybody after that, other than Charles Martin, Adam Nowowski, who's lowering these ratings in IBF, I have never heard of. So it's a good chance you're going to have Pulev versus the 8th or 9th contender, somebody we never heard of in an IBF Eliminator. Because I believe Jarrell Miller is not fighting in Bulgaria. If they make this purse bid in America like they're going to do for Dylan White fight, he'll fight. So, we'll see if Jarrell Miller accepts it and how bad he wants Anthony Joshua. Is he willing to go abroad, or will Pulev accommodate him and make this fight in America? But like I said, Pulev will be his toughest test. He's a former world champion and all that good stuff. But don't forget, we got the links in the description on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. If you want to donate, that's definitely appreciated. Y'all know what it is. Real Trill Boxing Talk. One time for the one time. We gone.